Welcome back to Hustle a Million, guys. I'm your host, Joshua Manat, and today our focus is to show you how your choices about what you spend your money on is affecting your ability to achieve the long-term financial success that you're seeking. By the end of this episode, I want you to be able to go and look at your own finances and what you're currently spending money on, and be able to see the opportunities you can find to change some of those habits so that you can go ahead and start beginning to invest and do things that are going to help you secure the financial freedom that you seek. So the first thing I want to talk about is your daily bad habits. You know, those things that you spend money on that seem insignificant, like do you actually go to Starbucks and get a cup of coffee? Maybe you go to McDonald's. Maybe you just go out to eat for lunch with some of your coworkers, or maybe you even smoke cigarettes. Whatever that habit is, I'm going to show you right now how much it's costing you long term.
Now, in order for me to show you guys exactly how your daily choices are affecting your long-term financial success, we're going to come over to a website called calculator.net. I urge all of you guys to go ahead and put this in the memory bank, because once you are able to assess your own finances, come over here, play with the numbers, and you'll be able to see exactly how your daily choices or even monthly choices with money affect you long term. Now we're just going to scroll on down here, guys, and it actually gives us numerous calculators that we can use. For the purposes of this actual demonstration, I'm just going to use an investment calculator. Now once you hit that link, guys, it's going to take you to this page. As you can see, they've got some numbers plugged in already. They're calculating this off a 10-year period, and they've got a 7% return rate actually entered. Now that's a 7% return rate annually. We're going to leave that number the same, guys, because we're going to compare this to the return rate of the stock market. If you don't already know, the stock market actually gets you about 6 or 7% return, and that's if you do the most simplest investment there is, which is buy the S&P 500. When you look at the S&P 500 over a longer periods of time, it will give you 6 or 7% minimum. So that's why we're going to leave that return rate the same, because that's what we're going to compare this to, guys.
So guys, what does a cup of coffee at Starbucks cost these days? Is it $5, $6? Heck, with inflation, it might be 7 or 8. Either way, let's go plug the numbers in and let's see what we get.
So we're going to assume that a cup of Starbucks coffee costs $5, guys, and we're going to take that over a 30-day period, since that's the average length of a month. So we're going to take $150 after our first month. We're actually going to leave again this return rate at 7% annually. We're going to do it for 10 years. And then additional contributions are going to be an additional $150 each month, because that's what we're saving if we get rid of that Starbucks coffee every day. And now we're going to hit calculate and see what we get. And as you can see, guys, you would end in 10 years, you'd have almost $26,000. Now you would have put in 18 grand and you would have made $7,800 in interest payments based on just investing in S&P 500 on the stock market. Now this may not seem like a lot of money, guys, but I can tell you right now, there's a lot of people watching this today that don't have this in their bank account. And remember, this is only on $5 a day. So this is a big deal, guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to see how that plays out as we add more years. So let's go ahead and bump it up to 20 years and see what that gets us. And as you can see, now we're up to $76,000 after 20 years of just $5 a day in investing it into the S&P 500. You would have invested $36,000. You would have earned $3,000, guys, over that 20-year period by just simply taking $5, get into the S&P 500 each and every day. Save it up for the month and then deposit the whole $150 at the end of the month. This is what you come up with. This is definitely can start becoming life-changing money if you give it time. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn this up another notch for us, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put us 30 years out and see what that gets us. And as you can see, guys, that puts us at $176,000. We would have only contributed $54,000 of our own money, but yet we would have earned $122,000 over a 30-year period by simply just investing $5 a day. And if you guys are unsure of why these numbers end up getting so big like this, it's because of our little friend called compound interest. Essentially, as your money is growing, that 7% is being calculated on a larger number each and every year. So your profit that you're making is larger each and every year. So in the end, guys, if you're looking for financial freedom or looking to be wealthy, you need to understand compound interest is your best friend, because these are the tools that wealthy people understand. And they know that as long as they actually utilize compound interest, they can actually accumulate crazy amount of money.
And I already know what some of you guys are thinking. Well, Josh, it takes 30 years to accumulate that kind of money. I might not even be around in 30 years. And you're absolutely right, guys. Tomorrow's not promised. However, I like to tell people you need to live for today, but also plan for tomorrow. Because guess what? You may be around in 30 years. And what you don't want to happen is that you look up 30 years from now and your life is in the same spot or the same financial position that you are right now. So now that we have our starting points at $5 a day, guys, I'm going to go ahead and expand this even further into things that you spend money on where you may be able to make some adjustments. Now, my next question is, what's the average cost of a new car?
Well, according to Google, the average cost of a new car is almost $46,000, guys. And that's for a non-luxury vehicle. Let's come back over here to calculator.net, guys, and we're going to scroll down, and now we're going to use our auto loan calculator to see how much this new car is costing us. Plug in $45,000. Our loan term is 60 months, which is kind of the average right now, guys. And at a 4.5% interest rate, we're going to put $5,000 down. 4.5%, of course, if you got a really good credit. And let's calculate and see what this thing cost us. Now, essentially, this is costing us $745 a month. And in total, by the time we finish paying off this loan, we would have paid $53,000 over the course of the next 5 years in order to pay this vehicle off.
Now, before we dig into the numbers, I also want to know, well, how often do people purchase new vehicles?
Well, according to Google, people usually keep their vehicles for around 6 years. So it's safe to say, guys, that in a 30-year period, you're likely to actually purchase around 5 vehicles. Now let's come back over to calculator.net and take a look at these numbers again. So as we know, this vehicle is costing us about $745 a month and a total of $53,000 over the course of the next 5 years. Now guys, I don't need to tell you this, but what does a vehicle do over the lifetime of the loan in terms of its value? We all know that it's a constant decrease. So as you're paying this $53,000, your asset is becoming more and more worthless. Now keep in mind, guys, most of you will do this approximately 5 times over the course of 30 years. So here's what I propose. Let's say you do have to buy a new vehicle. Maybe you don't buy it brand new. Maybe you buy it used. And maybe you only spend half of this $45,000 to purchase the vehicle. Let's see what that actually would save you. So right here, we're going to plug in $22,500 because that's half of $45,000, and we'll recalculate this loan. And our loan payment just went down from $745 to $326, which is a total of $420 in savings per month. Our note, guys, we're going to come back over here to the investment calculator. We're going to start with the first month's payment of $420 because now we're going to actually invest this money. We're going to contribute an additional $420 each and every month. And we're going to look at what that gets us over a 10-year period with an annual rate of return of 7%. And as you see, guys, in that 10-year period, you would have actually put in $50,000, but you would have accumulated $21,000 in actual profits from interest. And we're not going to stop there, guys. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like for us at 20 years. Now we're up to almost $215,000. You would have put in $100,000, but you would have actually earned an additional $113,000 over that time frame. And now the maximum we're going to put in is that 30-year mark, guys. And look at that, we're at $500,000. You contributed $151,000. But you have actually earned yourselves $342,000 in interest payments over that 30-year period.
So at this point, guys, I'm sure a lot of you see where this is headed, but let's go ahead and get to my last example. So the biggest expense that most people will face on a month-to-month basis is the one that keeps a roof over their head. Whether you rent an apartment or you purchased a home, the decision that you make on how much money you're going to spend in this area can either hurt or help your long-term financial success. Let's go run the numbers and see what we find out.
So once we come back over here to calculator.net, we're going to scroll down to mortgage calculator this time. As you can see, it has pre-filled in some numbers for us. It's actually estimating a home price of $400,000. Likely because right now that is the average cost of a home in the US, calculating 20% down, term loan 30 years, and at a 7.1% interest. Unfortunately, that's an insane amount of interest, but that's the market we're living in currently, guys. And that would actually get you a monthly payment of about $2,100 per month. Now, let's just say instead of spending $400,000, guys, we go ahead and spend only $350,000. Let's recalculate that. And as you can see, that's lowered your monthly payment by approximately $300 a month. And so now we're going to take it one step further. Since we went ahead and saved ourselves that $300 a month, we're going to go ahead and invest that. Now we're back over here on the investment calculator. I've already pre-filled this out for us, guys. We're starting with $300. We're going to do a 10-year period to start, an annual rate of return at 7%, an additional contribution of $300 each month. And what do we have after 10 years? You'd be up to almost $52,000. You would have put in $36,000, and your interest that you would have earned is $15,000. Let's take a look at 20 years. In 20 years, now we're up to $153,000. You contributed $72,000, but you've earned $81,000. And last but not least, guys, we're going to look at this 30-year. And at that 30-year mark, we've got approximately $353,000 in our account. We contributed $108,000. And we've earned $244,000 in interest.
Now let's recap this, guys. I found you $176,000 from your bad habit, at least. I found you $494,000 from the vehicle that you drive. And I found you $353,000 from the home that you provide yourself. Now that's a grand total of $1,026,000. And that's not by telling you to go and get another job or work overtime. That's simply by telling you to make better choices on what you spend your money on. You see, the reality is, guys, is that most of us are not willing to actually delay our gratification. We want what we want right now, and we're not willing to sacrifice anything. And I'm telling you guys right now that that's the wrong path to take. And so what I want you guys to do for me is go take a look at your own personal lives. Take a look at your bad habits, perhaps, or the choices you've made on your vehicle or your home, and see if you can find some opportunities to save yourself some money and then take that money and go invest it into your financial future. And I promise you guys, once you begin doing this and you start to see your value go up and that account balance rise, you'll never look back again and you'll never question it. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and smash that like button for me, guys. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell as well, so you can join us on this journey to financial freedom. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment down below. I thank you for tuning in. Till next time.